Greetings and welcome. Today we will cover a particularly insidious and unfortunately prevalent phenomenon in the modern workplace: the toxic manager and their retinue, often referred to with a certain grim accuracy as the flying monkeys. Now, this isn't mere colloquialism we're dealing with. This dynamic, while perhaps not formally codified in the DSM, represents a significant pathology within organizational structures, one that can inflict profound psychological damage on individuals and erode the very foundations of productive and meaningful work. Let us first define our terms with some precision. What constitutes a toxic manager? We're not simply speaking of a demanding boss or one who sets high expectations. Rather, we're addressing individuals who consistently engage in behaviors that undermine, demean, and ultimately harm their subordinates. This can manifest in a multitude of ways: narcissistic tendencies, a relentless need for control, the creation of a climate of fear and intimidation, inconsistent and often arbitrary decision making, and a profound lack of empathy. Consider the research on abusive supervision, as detailed in the work of scholars like Professor Bennett Tepper. Their findings consistently demonstrate the detrimental impact of such leadership on employee well-being, job satisfaction, and even physical health. This isn't just about a bad day at the office, it's about a sustained assault on an individual's sense of competence and self-worth. And then we have the flying monkeys. This term, borrowed from the allegorical narrative of The Wizard of Oz, aptly describes individuals who, either wittingly or unwittingly, act as extensions of the toxic manager's will. They may spread gossip, enforce unfair rules, isolate the targeted individual, or even actively participate in the manager's campaign of harassment. Why do these flying monkeys exist? What psychological mechanisms are at play here? Often it stems from a fear of reprisal. In a hierarchical structure dominated by a toxic individual, aligning oneself with the perceived power holder can seem like a necessary act of self-preservation. Others may be motivated by a desire for favor, seeking to gain status or promotion by ingratiating themselves with the manager. And in some more unsettling instances, individuals with their own latent aggressive tendencies may find an outlet through the toxic manager's agenda. Now, the crucial question arises: how does one navigate this treacherous terrain? How does an individual maintain their integrity and psychological well-being when faced with such a toxic dynamic? Firstly, it is vital to recognize the situation for what it is. Do not fall into the trap of internalizing the blame. Toxic behavior from a manager is rarely, if ever, a reflection of your inherent worth or competence. It is a manifestation of their own psychological shortcomings and insecurities. As Dr. Brené Brown's research on shame and vulnerability highlights, understanding the source of negative behavior can be a crucial first step in detaching from its harmful effects. Secondly, cultivate a meticulous practice of documentation. Keep records of specific instances of behavior, including dates, times, and witnesses if possible. This may seem like a tedious exercise, but in the event that you need to escalate the issue through formal channels, having a clear and objective record is invaluable. This aligns with the principle of bearing witness to truth, even when it is uncomfortable. Thirdly, and this is paramount, establish clear and firm boundaries. Toxic individuals often thrive on the erosion of personal boundaries. They will test your limits, and if you allow it, they will encroach further and further. Learn to say no with clarity and conviction. As Jordan Peterson often emphasizes, articulating your values and standing up for them, even in the face of adversity, is essential for psychological integrity. This might involve declining unreasonable requests, refusing to engage in gossip, or politely but firmly pushing back against demeaning comments. Furthermore, build a robust support network. This cannot be overstated. Isolation is a key tactic employed by toxic individuals to maintain control. Seek out trusted colleagues, mentors, friends, or family members with whom you can openly discuss your experiences. Their validation and support can provide a crucial anchor in a turbulent environment. Consider also seeking professional guidance from a therapist or counselor who specializes in workplace issues. They can provide you with tools and strategies for coping with the emotional toll of this situation. Another crucial element is to focus on what you can control. You may not be able to change the toxic manager's behavior, nor can you necessarily alter the dynamics of the flying monkeys. However, you can control your own reactions, your work ethic, and your commitment to your professional standards. By focusing on excellence in your work and maintaining your integrity, you deny the toxic manager the satisfaction of seeing you crumble. Consider also the long term implications for your own well being. While short term coping strategies are essential, sometimes the most courageous and ultimately self respecting action is to seek alternative employment. There is no shame in recognizing that a particular environment is fundamentally detrimental to your mental and even physical health. As Viktor Frankl eloquently argued in Man's Search for Meaning, our ability to find meaning and purpose in our work is vital. When that is consistently undermined by a toxic environment, it may be time to seek a context where your contributions are valued and respected. This is not to say that one should flee at the first sign of difficulty. However, it is crucial to discern between a challenging work environment and one that is actively toxic and harmful. The former can foster growth and resilience. The latter can lead to burnout, anxiety, and even depression. Ultimately, surviving the toxic manager and their flying monkeys requires a combination of self awareness, strategic action, and a commitment to your own psychological well being. It demands that you stand firm in your values, articulate your boundaries, and build a support system that can provide strength and perspective. Remember, you are not responsible for the toxic behavior of others, but you are responsible for how you respond to it. By understanding the dynamics at play and implementing these strategies, you can navigate this shadow and emerge with your integrity and well being intact.